Welcome back. This is Sachin again. So this is in one of the tutorials in the series where we were trying to achieve this ecosystem where we can access the Nginx service, which lands into any of these Nginx pods, which talks to the backend service, which lands again any of these three pods in the backend, and which communicates to the database and retrieves the information. In the whole system, if any pod, including the database, if they happen to crash, Kubernetes will ensure that the pod is recreated. And we have seen by deliberately deleting these pods, and we see still our data was not lost, even in case of database. Even after the pod crash, when the next pod came online, it's a matter of a couple of seconds, and we were still able to query the same data. So it has not lost because data has been stored into the host machine. All right, so in this diagram perspective, we have already achieved everything. But if you remember in the previous video, okay, yes, this was the last command we issued. So 32162, which is a port for Nginx, yes, 32162. It's very hard to basically tell anyone that, you know, what is this port, because they are like all randomized. If I delete this service and reissue the same command in my previous videos, this port may get changed, and this is not very convenient. How we can be sure, like, you know, to, if for some reason, if this machine is accessible over internet, um, basically somebody should be able to, using my machine IP address, should be able to make this call and get the data. And we don't have to tell, okay, this is the IP or this is the port you need to use, right? And that's where the ingress comes into picture. It is unfortunately not in the document, but consider it like on the top layer, an ingress, which is a, you know, kind of a URL and with a path, and then by the relative path, we are exposing some of the service. So let's quickly see it happening. So now we covered all these. The only thing left is the ingress. In terms of YAML files, this is a very simple ingress. This kind is ingress, and then host name here, I'm giving such an info. And one important thing, actually two important things we need to understand here. When you are doing ingress, you have to enable the add-ons for ingress in Minikube. I think I have already explained it last time, but let me quickly show it once again. You go to infra, I'll put this URL in the description, and in the util scripts in the minikube.sh, and here if you see these, you need to issue this command, because I have used this command directly, which executes force start this portion of the code. My adds on for ingress has already been set. But if you're manually setting up Minikube, just make sure that your add-on is enabled, because by default add-ons are not enabled in Minikube, which you can verify by Minikube add-ons list. And then if you search for ingress, you see ingress and ingress DNS, both must be enabled, right? Okay, this one. And the second thing is the host name. It should be a qualified name, and because my machine is of course in not internet, and that's why I'm just faking it out by putting this entry in my host file. So let's do that. Private AC host. Okay, 190, if I'm not wrong, I think the IP was 112. Minikube, sorry, Minikube IP. Yep, 112. Let me cross it. Okay. Right. So two things are set. Adds-on are enabled, and I have made an entry for this in my host file with the Minikube IP. Now, once these two things are set, we are good to apply this ingress. Now, what this ingress is, if anything, a relative path accessed on this host, we need to define which service and what port needs to take care of it. By default, just for simplicity, I'm saying slash, so which means if I just access sachin.info on the slash path, the default it should go to Nginx port 80, which is my Nginx service running over here. And this time I don't need to give this 32162 port over here. So let's see it running. So the first thing is like apply this ingress. Okay, kubectl apply -f ingress. Okay, kubectl get ingress. I see my minimal ingress has been created. So IP has already been set. So let me curl. So this is the curl I used last time, but now I don't need this complicated IP and the random port. I can just say sachin.info/IP, and I should be able to land to my the same request in the backend service. So 8, 9, and 10. And if in case you're wondering about how my other URLs, all and all, okay, my did I made some mistake? curl-get info/all. Okay, maybe did I delete something? Oh no, it should. Nginx/t should work. Let me go to my Postgres database. Okay, 30. Does it have a data? Or let me post it first. So post info slash and type application slash JSON -d. Okay, should be fine. Okay, name A2. Okay, and then let me okay, perfect. Maybe I think I might have deleted it, cleared it off, and then recreated and don't remember. That's why. So now we can see we can save our employee, we can retrieve them, and we can use the IP address using the proper name, and then we can retrieve the data. So that ends the whole session, and we have seen how we can create the all the front end and back end services as explained in this diagram. All right, now before we close that off, so how we can fully recreate everything. So basically I've already included the scripts over here. If you quickly go here, scripts, and then the PG, all these services, actually I am going to delete it first and then apply what I had done manually. So basically just by running this run_pg.sh, this will set up your whole database. So let me first delete all the things. So which means the database will be gone. And before, in the meantime, it is cleared off, let me similarly delete all the services as well. Okay, sometimes it, let me retry that. Okay, meanwhile, let me close them as well. I think, yeah, it's deleting, I believe. Yes, everything is getting terminated. So we are going back to the very previous state where there is nothing over here. Let's get all the resources be cleared. Okay, meanwhile it is clearing, I'll just quickly walk through these two scripts basically. Scripts 1 and 1pg. So 1pg we have just seen, it just run Postgres function, which means it deletes all these Postgres service deployment config, whatever we created, and then it applies that. So which means if you execute this service, your database is up and running, and the other services run.sh, it does pretty much the same thing. It just deletes all your ingress or config maps or deployment for Nginx, service for backend, deployment for backend, and so on and so forth. Now, once it clears off everything, it goes to the backend project and run this run Docker script. remember the run docker script, which um, I mean, run docker script actually executes this command which we have manually executed. So we don't have to do anything. We just need to run this scripts, which will basically, create the Docker image and just listing down all the image and then applying all that thing which we have manually applied. All right, that's pretty much. So let's try that out. So I see there is nothing. It goes back to the previous state. I'm gonna let me in fact T4. Okay, this directory is totally empty. I'm just following the readme file, which is very convenient. So copy these commands, which will basically check out this code, go to the directory, create this temp directory, if not created, and give the right permission to the bash files. Perfect. So after that, I'm inside this folder, and then the first is run my Postgres scripts. So we see once this gets executed, we see our Postgres database coming up over here. Meanwhile, it is coming. Let me get ready with the other scripts as well. All right, so it should be created. Postgres. Let's wait for the container to be up. Okay, they're already up, and I'm gonna apply another scripts over here. So this is deleted if any of the previous objects, Kubernetes objects. Now it is building the Docker image, backend app1. Perfect. Listing down all the Docker image, and that's pretty much. We can see 3 backend services, one Nginx, one Postgres, and we can actually issue the same command, the session one. Let me search for it. Session1.ip. Oh, bad gateway. And why so? Because I have not. Why? Oh, maybe it might be creating something. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Now we see the URLs or IP address of 6, 7, and there must be one more. Come on. 6, 7. That should be 8. Why it's not 8 here? Okay, finally it has come over here. So of course it depends on Kubernetes. All right, so I think that covers everything, and everything which we plan to create: database, the backend service, the Nginx, and Ingress. I hope you enjoyed that session. All right, guys, thank you.